walk into Tuscaloosa, Alabama and do what happened that day, something that leaves a legacy, 2012, it's 12 years later, where I walk down the street every day of my life and somebody comes up and daps me up and goes, 15.5-point underdogs, Alabama, I'll never forget that day for the rest of my life. That's what kind of impact that day had on college football. And I hear it every day, see it every day.
You see Alabama on the schedule, and you're on the Heisman watch list. You mentioned your 15-point underdogs, and you understand what Alabama is. That's Coach Saban. You know the dogs that he has on that roster. You know the dogs that he sends to the NFL every year, multiple. What's going through your mind? Do you ever think, man, if I can go to Alabama, if I can go to Tuscaloosa and beat Bama, ooh, they got to take notice.
Can't think like that. Can't think like that and be successful because you're putting pressure on yourself that's unneeded.
Okay.
I got 95% of the country that's saying Alabama's going to beat us. What do we have to lose, right? I remember being on the bus on the way to the game and putting on the movie 300. This part comes on where it's give to them nothing, but take from them every single thing, everything. And that was my mindset going into the game, that like everybody in this stadium expects you to lose. Everybody in this state is rooting against you. We got maybe 20, 30,000 loyal Aggies scattered through about in the stands. We already lost 2 games that year.
Right.
What's the third going to do? You know, we're out of the SEC title. We're out of, you know, the national championship conversation. Let's just try and go ball. And Cliff Kingsbury put together an unbelievable game plan for us offensively that highlighted our strengths, that kept us from being too vulnerable in a defense like that. And for the first half of that game, they don't know what the fuck is going on. We're running option with go routes and all. We are just unleashing the Cliff Kingsbury like creativeness of a football playbook for an air raid. You know, this wasn't old Mike Leach air raid. This wasn't anything that Lincoln was doing wherever. This was just its own subtle thing, or own, you know, particular thing that was tailored to me being able to run the ball the way that I could, as well as having an unbelievable like offensive line to be able to handle what they were throwing at us. Luke Jokel, Jake Matthews, Cedric Aboya, these are all first-round picks in the NFL, and some really, really solid players.
Right. Wow, I forgot you guys had that kind of offensive line. So that's why they were able to hold up. Joker was the number 2 pick in the draft. I think Jake Matthews was a top 10 pick in the draft. You guys were loaded. Mike Evans, Swoops was very underrated.
Mike Evans, and that's somebody that, man, what a brother to me, man. It makes me even emotional even thinking about it. We got to come in at the same time in redshirt. And that redshirt year, we were tearing their ass up on the scout team. So much that I went to my locker one day later in the year and they took my red jersey so they couldn't hit me. And they put a black jersey on me to be able to smack me in practice, because me and Mike were doing our thing. We were starting that recipe of that pot. And we were starting to cook. And then as that year goes on, that redshirt freshman year that we play together, you start to see a kid who's like a man amongst boys out there, and like really 6'5" with that frame. Like, he was always what he was, but that confidence that started to grow in him, me and him had this telepathy. Same way you probably had with a quarterback back in the day, where it's just like, that was a route.
Right.
Quick, easy. He knew everything. And me and him had that relationship that was like special. Wow. And it'll never be taken from us. You know, I can sit here and talk to him and still do the same signals. It's 12 years later. I could throw a peace sign, he's gonna go to the crib. Right. Is what that means every time. So, you know, to have a special bond with somebody like that, that kid, that guy, that man, means the fucking world to me.
When Alabama started to come back, you looked at reporting, you said F Alabama, F Saban, and that you were going to score. Why were you so confident? Why? Because the crowd had gotten back in it. They're going haywire. Defense, just freshmen. Why were you so confident that you was going to get this football and you were going to go down the field and score?
Yeah, well, the first, half of that game, first quarter, we're up 20-0. So that stadium, you could hear a pin drop.
Yeah.
And Tuscaloosa doesn't get like that very much, if ever. You can count on both your hands how many times they've lost since 2010, for the most part.
Yes.
So confidence in what we were doing, we lost our first game of the year to Florida. Cool, first game of the year, whatever. Then we get up on LSU and we end up blowing that game where I feel like we really should have won. That was our turning point in the season. So after that, we started to get together and come together that we didn't want to be, you know, the weak link of this team. We needed that offense and who we had to be the catalyst, to be the center point of that team. And we needed our defense just to kind of hold on. So as much as the Tuscaloosa and the Alabama game is about me and the offense, it's not the way I look at it. Our defense got multiple stops, got a pick late on like the last drive as they're on the 8-yard line to go in and take the lead. That changes things. We get a pick, we get the ball out, and then there's 50 seconds left in the game. We are on like 3rd and 7. Saban has a timeout. We run a run play, we get like 4, we're backed up on our own 20. So it's punt time. Now we're gonna punt it to who, I mean, it could have been Amari Cooper, whoever they had back there was a menace. And we had put this play in all week of a special teams punt scenario where we go on the hard count. It's 3rd and 4. We go hard count, they jump, we touch them, first down, mic drop. So you have your offense, what we did in the first half. We scored 20 in the first quarter.
Right.
We only scored 9 the rest of the game. We're hanging on for dear life. You know, the plays that we made on that one score drive, you know, the 6 points we scored in the second half was off a turnover, wheel route down the sideline, dime, corner route, next play, dime. 2 plays, touchdown, like very opportunistic and going with the flow of the game. And then you seal the game with a special teams play. So you got offense, defense, special teams. We walk into the locker room in Tuscaloosa and we burn that thing down.
Total team win.
Total, completely. Without a doubt, total team win.
If they have the college football playoff in 2011, you guys have to, and A&M gets it. Do you believe y'all win the national championship?
We got to play Bama again probably, so that's another like knock it out. I think we have a very good chance.
Right.
I think we got better, and even from the Tuscaloosa game, the Alabama game, up until the Cotton Bowl. The Cotton Bowl was our best showing of the entire year.
Yeah, oh yeah. Y'all put it together, man.
Yeah, and we did. And that's just where our, like, that was the pinnacle of what our team was that year, and we showed it at the last game on the biggest stage. I love my school. I love what happened. I love walking back into that stadium and feeling like I had a piece of putting one of these bricks in the walls outside. And I can carry myself and say that.
put a lot of bricks.
I don't think it's the house that Johnny built.
That's what they call it.
They can call it what they want.
You
The
gotta
way I view
like
it,
that.
Like?
Yeah.
That's disrespectful to Mike Evans. That's disrespectful to Jake Matthews.
Well, Mike Evans, they didn't call Mike Evans or Mike Football. They call you Johnny Football. They didn't call Jake Matthews or Luke Jokel.
Okay, so I get the praise for what we do as a team because my play is special on the field.
Want to join Club Shay Shay? Become an official member by hitting that subscribe button, where you never know who's going to be joining us for drinks and conversation. Don't be late to the party because you know we like to do something before 2 something.